Hi guys, we had a slight technical issue, so we're 2 minutes late. Hi Bruno, yes, we are here. My name is Emily. I'm from Cambridge in the UK.
And my name is Gabriel. I'm from Birmingham, which is also in the UK, both at the Ponte Lungo School in Rome. So hi Bruno, yeah, if there's anyone else there, please tell us your name, where you're from. Bruno, where are you from?
You're a bit of a looming silhouette, Gabe.
I know, I'm not really sure what it is.
I think it's fine, it's fine.
Going on with my brightness. Potentially I'll turn it up. Ooh.
Yeah, Bruno, maybe for now you're alone. You can have 2 teachers just for you. Private
2 teachers, 1 student. I think everybody else may be going for food now.
Yeah.
Instead of talking about food as we are.
Yeah.
As we're planning on doing.
This is going to make us hungry. So in this focus, history of food, we have a food quiz, passives, and famous food origins.
Oh, this is going to be interesting, especially considering you're talking to English people, I think. What are the most famous dishes from your region or country? Which is your favorite? And what is it made from? So guys, please tell us the most famous dishes, maybe from Lombardia, I don't know, Bruno, or generally Italy. What's your favorite? What is it made from? What's the most famous dish from the UK, Emily, or the England?
Probably fish and chips.
Yeah.
Deep fried cod or haddock. I think there's not that much famous British food or famous English food, but I think fish and chips is everyone's first idea. Ooh, risotto with beer. Huh. I didn't realize people made risotto with beer. I know risotto with white wine.
Oh, I see. You substitute in the beer for the wine.
I guess.
Unless you're physically meaning risotto and a beer. I don't know.
Oh, right.
I'm not sure. Unless you, Bruno, do you mean risotto and beer alongside, or beer in the? We're not sure.
And if the beer is in the risotto, what are the other ingredients? Is there a particular vegetable or something that you should have with that type of risotto? So the most well-known dish is spaghetti with tomatoes. Yeah.
So you do you do mean beer in the risotto. Okay. Interesting.
Instead of, yeah.
And yeah, what else would you put in the risotto? What goes well with a beer risotto?
Or beer.
I think we have a lot of what you would call inherited food in the UK. Food from the various kind of settled communities and waves of migration that we've had in the UK over the 20th century. For instance, in Birmingham, there's a lot of curry because there's a large Indian and Pakistani community, so we have a lot of curry.
Yeah.
in Birmingham.
Curry is an interesting example of kind of cross-cultural inheritance, like you said, because in the UK, curry is almost our national dish, or different various types of curry, and a lot of them have been invented in the UK.
In the UK, no,
a lot
exactly.
of our favorites aren't authentic Indian or Bangladeshi.
But they are at the same time made by those communities living in. It is a kind of fusion, isn't it, of those communities living in a new geographical and kind of social landscape in a way. It's a very interesting. Is it British Pakistani then at that point, or British Bangladeshi, or?
And Bruno says, I think that the best food in the world is beef with chips. Probably steak and chips.
Steak and chips, yeah.
Which beef, is not something that I often eat. Yeah. And I think Bruno's answering number 2. The country that has the best food is Italy. Okay.
And possibly the most well-known. Yeah.
Not surprising that Bruno loves Italian food best. What do you think is in your opinion, Gabe, which country has the best food?
It's a question for me of, I don't know if you have this phrase in Italian or a similar one, but of apples and oranges, meaning it's like comparing two great things.
Yeah.
You know, what is the point of the comparison in the end? It's like comparing apples and oranges, we might say in English. Whilst I think Italian food does hold a strong kind of possibility for being one of the best types of European food, if not the best, I think equally I love things like Indian food, but I just don't know if you can compare them in a way.
Yeah, that's
my point. It's just they're almost in vastly different cuisines as well, with vastly different ingredients and, I don't know, cultural contexts in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Em?
Yeah, well, I agree with Bruno that Italian food is fantastic. And something I love about Italian food is that obviously there's the classic pizza and pastas, but also regionally, Italian food has so much variety. So Sicilian food compared to Roman food, there are a lot of differences. But I agree with you as well, Gabe, that you can't really choose between Chinese food and Italian food because they're very, very different. For me, it depends hour to hour, which is my favorite type of food, because sometimes I really want Italian food. Sometimes I really want a pizza. Sometimes I really want a curry. Sometimes I really want some Chinese dim sum.
It's mood, isn't it, too? It's dictated by mood as well. What I am struck by, I think, as an English person coming to Italy and eating just on the level of basic ingredients, I think just how quality. I'm struck. I'm amazed by the quality of the base ingredients, and I think that really carries into. I think that really you can taste that in the food. Whereas in the UK, a lot of our food is imported.
Yeah.
And a lot of our vegetables, for instance, they don't have the element of ripeness and of sheer taste, I think, that a lot of the food has in Italy, which is so fresh and so well sourced.
Yeah. Yeah, fresh ingredients makes a big difference. And to answer Bruno's question, we are in Rome, and I have eaten. Careful with your present perfect. Have you ever eaten spaghetti alla carbonara? Yes, I have. And it was delicious. I'm guessing, Gabe, you haven't.
I haven't had it here, no. I've had it before in Italy. I think I'm not sure if it was spaghetti. No, I think I had a Sicilian variant when I was in Sicily a long time ago. But as I'm vegetarian as of 4 years ago, so I haven't had the chance while I'm in Rome, unfortunately.
Yeah, I had somebody once told me that you can make a good version of a carbonara with mushrooms instead of with if you get really good porcini mushrooms,
like porcini, or
because they almost have really good mushrooms, almost have a meaty flavor.
We had this discussion, didn't we? Because we were talking, we were arguing about umami, weren't we? The kind of meaty element in a really good mushroom.
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
No, but I completely agree. A really good mushroom can have a certain meatiness to it. Yeah.
What do you think, Bruno?
I don't know, Bruno. Can you?
Is it a terrible idea to try and make a carbonara with mushrooms instead of with what's the traditional pancetta?
Pancetta, I guess. Yeah.
Guanciale,
I guess I bet it's still amazing, but you probably just wouldn't call it a carbonara anymore, would you? You'd probably just call it I don't know, fungi or something.
Yeah. I think my favorite Roman pasta is cacio e pepe.
Favorite food? Oof.
That's a big question, Bruno. I can tell you my favorite Italian pasta in general. So cacio e pepe is my favorite traditional Roman pasta. My favorite Italian pasta in general.
I thought we might get an answer like that. No! You're violating the carbonara.
An Italian person suggested to make a carbonara with mushrooms. Only if you're a vegetarian. So Gabe can't eat carbonara with pancetta or with guanciale. So mushrooms.
What would you advise me, Bruno, as an alternative? As a vegetarian, is there a good alternative? And here you're probably just going to reply no. but if you do have an alternative, yeah.
Well, while Bruno is responding, we can go forward.
Yeah.
So I will leave this slide here. Which modal verbs? Okay.
I like that you put mushrooms in parentheses there as well.
Yeah. What's the question?
What's the question? I was asking Bruno if you could suggest a vegetarian dish which you would advise me to try?
We'll leave this here.
Your favorite vegetarian dish? Italian vegetarian. Could be a pasta, could be...
Yeah. Hopefully he's writing a nice long list of good stuff.
Things I can cook after this webinar.
Yeah.
Yes. It seems about 8 o'clock people escape to go and cook.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, a lot of pastas are vegetarian. Yeah. Agreed.
All right, Bruno. And if there is anybody else also watching, but I think this is just a private lesson for Bruno. We have a quiz. Take this short quiz about food. Test your knowledge of the history of some famous dishes. So before we show the answers, we need to go through all of these questions. And then the answers are on the next page. Oh, but we've got some examples coming. Maybe we should wait for Bruno's examples before we try and talk about
I think we should possibly wait, yeah, because otherwise we're going to be...
We're very interested in your recommendations as well, Bruno. So we want to know what your examples are. That's maybe more interesting than studying English.
I think that's far more interesting. You can make spaghetti. Mussels would still fall, unfortunately, mussels would still fall into the category of meat in this case. I love mussels. I used to eat them. They're smaller, aren't they? I used to eat mussels. I used to love eating mussels. But unfortunately, I still can't eat them.
Mollusks are basically vegetables, Gabe.
Basically, they move as slowly as vegetables. So
they're about as intelligent as onions. I love spaghetti with mussels. I actually bought mussels today. I'm going to have my mussels with, not with green beans, but with garlic and chili.
Ooh.
Okay, we got some answers
That's
here.
very nice.
Okay, let me read through this quickly. So, ice cream was invented in China, Germany, or Mexico. And Bruno reckons China. The English muffin was first baked in the USA, France, England, and Bruno reckons France. When carrots were first grown, they were orange or purple or green. Bruno's put purple. Chocolate was first made by Belgians, Italians, Aztecs. And then number 5, French fries were created in Belgium or France or England. Bruno's put 4A, Belgians. It would be nice if I didn't already know all the answers to these and then we could talk about it. Have you done this focus before, Gabe? Have you seen all of these answers before?
No, but I have a reckoning on most of them. I have a reckoning on most of them. I think I agree with 1A. 2. I feel like 2 might be the States. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry. I think 3, I think Bruno's right on purple. I think I've had purple carrots before. Chocolate, I feel, might be the Aztecs. French fries. don't know. I think either England or Belgium. I'm not sure. I'll go with England because Bruno's gone for Belgium.
Okay.
Okay. Unleash. Go.
Okay, the answers. Do you want to read?
Yes. So, correct answer. Ice cream was invented in China. It was made by mixing rice and milk to create a syrup that was then frozen.
Good job, Bruno.
So, yeah, Bruno.
Good job, Gabe.
Yeah. 2. Yeah. The English muffin was actually baked in the USA before it was brought to England. Yeah, I thought that.
Yeah.
3.
I think in America they quite like to name their foods after European countries because it's somehow it's more sophisticated if it's come from Europe.
I know, yeah, but also because potentially a lot of immigrant communities have attachments to those places too, because you often get, place names, for instance, which are attached to Spanish or Italian or English or French old. For me, it exhibits a lack of imagination. but
we will call this city New York.
Exactly. Yes. Never mind. 3. Yes, Bruno. Yeah, you're right on that. Carrots were originally purple. The orange carrot was cultivated because it tasted much better than the purple variety.
Do you
I've
remember
definitely had a
the
purple
carrot tasting different?
I thought it was more interesting coloured, so I think my mind tricked me and made me think, I like this more. This is a special carrot. And we have for 4, the chocolate was originally made as a drink by Aztecs and Mayans from South America. Yeah, I thought on the cocoa front, it would make sense. And 5. There we go. French fries were created in Belgium and made their way to France.
Good job,
so you got that one right as well, Bruno. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Here we go.
A little general knowledge. Okay, Bruno, so we're getting onto the grammar. I think Bruno's talking about the Aztecs for the chocolate. Yeah, because the cocoa plant.
Yeah, so So we're looking at passives in. Watch out!
I know. Yeah.
We're looking for the passives in this paragraph. So we're going to read out the paragraph. And Bruno, you can try and find the passives as we go through, and which tense they are as well. So we can read through it first, and then we can go through the passives one by one. Okay, so do you want to read down to noodles?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Pasta is eaten all over the world, but where was it first eaten? When most people think of pasta, it is immediately associated with Italy. But some would argue that pasta was in fact brought to Italy by Marco Polo in 1295 when he returned from China. Before that, it had been eaten by the Chinese as early as 3000 BC, but what the Chinese had created were actually rice noodles.
They were similar to pasta, but were made using rice flour instead of wheat. Another popular theory is that pasta was introduced after Sicily had been invaded by Arabs in the 9th century AD. Wherever it came from, pasta has become a staple on tables around the world.
And we've got one from Bruno. Was it first eaten? That's great. And that is a past simple passive, like you've written. Where was it first eaten? Past simple passive, interrogative. Bruno, before we continue, in this sentence, can you see another passive? Because this is not the first. There's another one before this. So what's the first, if we go through sentence by sentence? Might need to wait a sec for him to put whatever he was writing in then to answer this one.
Having some.
Sorry? I think Gabe has frozen. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yep. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. I'm just laughing at you. It does look a bit gloomy in your room, Gabe.
I'm trying to hide this as well, though.
Oh, I see. So when you sit your head in front of it, yeah, if there's slightly
exactly, I've become this dark presence. It's that or that, which is
okay.
Was brought to.
Was introduced after. These are great, Bruno. Those are all. Maybe we should just go through his examples. So
yeah,
it had been eaten.
Had been invaded by. Yeah, great.
Okay. So Bruno, before you said it had been eaten by the Chinese. That's absolutely a passive verb, but it is not the past perfect continuous. It's just the past perfect. Remember, a continuous verb always has an ing form. And in this example, it had been eaten. There is no ing form, so it can't be a continuous verb. Past perfect, simple, passive. And then we had was in fact brought to Italy. Good. Was introduced. Past.
Passive. Yeah.
Good, yeah.
Passive, perfect. Yeah.
Had been invaded.
Had been invaded by.
Great. Past perfect. Absolutely. Very nice. Okay, well, I'll click through.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Okay, yeah. So, Bruno, the one I wanted from this first sentence was pasta is eaten. So here we have a present simple passive. But I think you got all of, and then we had were made. But you got almost all of them. And you got the most difficult ones, which were the past perfect. And had been eaten, had been invaded, had been eaten. Okay.
Yeah.
So, don't go, Gabe.
Okay, so with this slide, we're looking at forming questions effectively, Bruno. What can you remember about the history of pasta? And we're going to use the prompts to form questions. So for the first example, we just have the simple words, which country, associated, and pasta. Can you form a using prompt. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you, but it was a little strange.
Okay, all right.
But I think it was comprehensible.
It's clear. Okay, right.
You went a bit Daft Punk.
So which? I went a bit Daft Punk. I love that phrase. Innovating with phrasal verbs as we do our webinars. To go Daft Punk.
So a complete question, Bruno, using those parts for the first one. I think everyone else probably would have just gone to watch that other 8 to 10 because they started before us.
Mm.
But we've got one, and that's the important thing. That's all we need.
Yeah.
We have so many students from Milan. Okay, so Bruno, what we want actually is not the answer, but the question. We want you to write a complete passive question for us. So in the interrogative, so completing, not answering the question, but just writing the question and using this verb here. So don't worry about answering it, but just because it's a fairly simple answer. Oh, we've lost Gabe. He'll be back in a moment, I expect. He's has some problems with his internet. His internet's not very strong, so sometimes he disappears, but he always reappears. So, which dish was invented in Italy? That's a great question, Bruno. That's absolutely a correct past simple passive question. We wanted this question though. So, which country associated and pasta? So, a question using these words, or if you want to try one of these other questions, that's absolutely fine as well. Hi, Gabe. Can you hear us?
Hi.
Cool. So I was just telling Bruno that we want him to use these to form the question. So, but it doesn't really matter which one he wants to do. But we need to think about what is the best tense to use for the different questions, and then how to form the interrogative passive. Yes. I'll bring up the first.
That's probably a good idea. So yeah, which country is often associated with pasta?
Yeah. So these are the prompts, and then this is the complete question. And I think Gabe has got his caps lock on. I'm not Gabe, sorry. Bruno. I think Bruno's got his caps lock on. Perfect.
Yes. Excellent. Well done, Bruno.
Perfect. So in China or by the Chinese, both great. So, yeah, 3000 BC, not 3000 AD.
Otherwise, we would have to have the future passive, which will be created by the Chinese in 3000 AD. The reason my screen is dark has really become more of a silhouette, I think.
Sorry, could you repeat?
Which type of pasta has been... No, it wasn't. It was of no importance. Which type of pasta has been created in China? It's been created in China.
Oh. So, with this sentence, Bruno, we need to be careful with your tense. Because it's finished, we're talking about a period in the past, a finished period in the past. We wouldn't use the present perfect for this question. We would just use the past simple. Actually, for both of these questions of yours, which type of pasta created in China, or where created the Chinese pasta?
We don't need in this example the Chinese or China in this. It's purely these three words.
Yeah. And so instead of has been, we would just say was. You could say, so which type of pasta was created in China is a good question, grammatically correct. But I think you're making it more complicated by adding extra details. So I'll bring up number 3 here. We could just have, where was pasta created? What about this one?
Which part of Italy invaded Arabs 9th century AD?
Ooh, we have another student.
So we do.
Just for the last 10 minutes.
Joining us, we're trying to... oh no, they've gone. Never mind. Which part of Italy was invaded by Arabs in the 9th century AD? Good. Yeah. Which part of Italy was invaded by Arabs in the 9th century AD? Would just be the end to that.
Yeah.
But correct, yeah, we're using the past passive.
Or we could say by the Arab people. You could say if you want to include the word people. Which part of Italy was invaded by the Arab people in the 9th century AD? And last one.
Yeah.
So maybe Bruno's answering that last question. So Bruno, I think your last sentence here is an affirmative sentence rather than a question, which is okay. If it is affirmative, then we wouldn't say is eaten pasta, because in English the subject is always before the verb, even if it's the passive subject. So all over the world, pasta is eaten today. Or the question would be, where is pasta eaten today?
Mm-hmm. But you're correct to use the present passive there.
Yeah, good.
Is eaten is perfect in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 6 minutes. I think that's long enough for this.
Yep. Okay. So, with this activity, use passives to retell the story of a famous dish to us. So we've got examples here, down here, as we've been looking at, of the present perfect, the past, and the past perfect. Present, pasta is dried to keep it fresh. Pasta, the present perfect, pasta has been spread all over the world. The past, pasta was not created in China. And the past perfect, pasta had been eaten in Italy before Marco Polo returned from China. Can you think of that's essentially what we're doing, isn't it, Emily? Can you think of a dish? It could be Italian, it could be
maybe we should specify a dish, just to say.
Yeah. What about carbonara we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about that. Can you give us an example of a sentence about spaghetti? It was spaghetti alla carbonara, was it?
Yeah.
I forget now.
Yeah, that was it.
That's correct, isn't it? Or if you don't want to talk about spaghetti alla carbonara, Bruno, you can give us whatever you like, and use the passive to talk about. Potentially, if you don't know the history, because that could be quite challenging, maybe how it is made or something like that.
Yeah. If we start with the present passive sentence as well.
Yeah.
We don't really have time for Bruno to go off and do much research, but at least with carbonara, we know that he has some strong opinions.
Yes.
So a present simple passive, I guess any tense that you like, actually. It doesn't have to be just the present simple. One of these 4 tenses as long as it's the correct tense for the context of what you want to say.
Yeah, and it could be how it's made. I don't know, just because.
Yeah.
For me, I don't personally know a lot about the history of a dish. Perhaps.
I like that it says, while Bruno's writing, I like for the present perfect the example, pasta has been spread all over the world, because it makes me picture the globe with like slabs of lasagna all over it.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Spaghetti with carbonara was created in Italy. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Risotto wasn't created in China. Fantastic.
Good to have a negative. Yeah, great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe, can you think of a present perfect passive? I could say, how long has carbonara been eaten in Italy? And you don't need to give a specific answer. You could say just for a long time. So for this question I've just written, Bruno, your answer doesn't need to be too specific.
Fantastic. My risotto with beer had been eaten before the chef created it.
I'm not totally sure what he means, but it's a grammatically perfect sentence.
Grammatically, it's sound, isn't it? Yeah. Just watch out for your spelling of beer again there. Otherwise, we'd.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Although I like the idea of risotto with bear.
Oh, well, we need to stop. Oh, we can give him a couple of minutes. We're the last ones.
Yeah.
We can give a few extra minutes. After whatever your next example is, Bruno, we have to finish after that, but we'll wait for your next. I don't know if you're answering the question that I wrote. Or if you, yeah. But after that, then we should stop.
Mm-hmm. Macaroni was created by my grandmother. Claim to fame there. Yes.
I don't think he means it was invented by his grandmother.
I don't know.
That would be amazing.
It would be amazing.
Oh, he did, but it was a joke.
He did, but it's joking. Yeah,
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Okay, Bruno, it's very nice to meet you.
Excellent. Yep, and fantastic examples there. Really
Yeah,
good.
really good. Great passives.
Yep.
Especially your past perfect. That was very nice. All right.
Okay. Have a nice evening, Bruno. Buon appetito.
I'm very hungry now.